That day it rained. I stood before my mother's grave, clutching a divorce agreement in my hand. 3 years. I finally knew the truth behind that car accident. My mother didn't die in an accident. Adrian deliberately killed her to save his white moonlight, Isabel. And I, the fool, married him with gratitude. Mom, I'm sorry. I'm late. I knelt in the mud, letting the rain soak through me. My phone rang. It was Adrian. Clara, why aren't you back yet? Isabel is returning to the country today, and I want to bring her home for dinner. His voice was as gentle as it was 3 years ago, comforting me after losing my mother. Okay, I replied faintly. Clara, your voice sounds strange. Do you have a cold? A cold? I wanted to laugh. I just wanted to kill someone. I'm fine, I'll be back soon. I hung up the phone and took one last look at my mother's tombstone. Adrian, the game is over. Back at the villa, Isabel was already sitting in the living room, wearing a Chanel suit, elegant as a princess. When she saw how wet I was, a hint of disgust flashed in her eyes, but she quickly replaced it with a concerned expression. Clara, why are you so soaked? Go change your clothes quickly, or you'll catch a cold. Thank you for your concern, Sister Isabel. I nodded obediently. Adrian walked over, wanting to take my hand. Clara, your hands are so cold, are you? I'm fine. I avoided his touch. I'll go change. As I went upstairs, I heard Isabel talking to Adrian downstairs. Adrian, Clara doesn't seem to like me very much. Don't overthink it. She's just introverted. But I always feel like she's hostile towards me. Is it because of our relationship? Isabel, we're innocent. Innocent? I stopped at the corner of the stairs. Adrian, you know what I mean. I've liked you since I was little. If it weren't for... Isabel's voice choked with emotion. Isabel, don't say any more. Clara is my wife. But you love me in your heart, don't you? A long silence. Then, Isabel's satisfied laughter. I leaned against the wall and closed my eyes. 3 years ago, my mother died in a car accident on a construction site. She was inspecting a project invested in by the He Corporation when a runaway dump truck directly hit her. The driver died at the scene and was ruled as an accidental accident caused by fatigue driving. Adrian, as the project leader, took full responsibility and gave our family huge compensation. He also said to me at my mother's funeral, Clara, I will take care of you from now on. At that time, I thought I had met the best man in the world. But this morning, I accidentally overheard a conversation between Adrian and his assistant. Mr. Adrian, Miss Isabel's kidney source has been found. The surgery can be arranged tomorrow. That's great. I've waited 3 years for this. Adrian's voice was full of excitement. Your decision back then was right. If we hadn't dealt with the Jiang family, Miss Isabel's condition wouldn't have lasted until now. Don't mention that again. Isabel's health is the priority. Yes, but Miss Clara. She won't know. Besides, I'll be good to her. In that instant, my world collapsed. So my mother's death really wasn't an accident. So, Adrian approached me just to cover up the truth. So these 3 years of marriage have all been a lie. After changing my clothes, I went downstairs. The table was already full of dishes. Adrian thoughtfully ladled soup for me. Clara, drink more. You're too thin. Isabel smiled from the side and said, Adrian is so good to you. I'm a little jealous. Yes, I'm very happy. I picked up the bowl of soup. By the way, Sister Isabel, I heard you're having surgery? Isabel's expression changed slightly, and Adrian immediately looked at her nervously. It's nothing serious, just a small surgery. Isabel forced a smile. That's good. Health is the most important thing. I continued to drink the soup. Mom always said that a healthy body is the greatest wealth. Mentioning my mother made the atmosphere a little awkward. Adrian cleared his throat. Clara, don't be sad. Your aunt will bless you in heaven. Yes, Mom will definitely bless me. I looked at him, tears welling up in my eyes. She'll bless me to find the truth and avenge her. After dinner, Isabel went back to the hotel first. Adrian stayed with me in the living room watching TV, just like usual. Clara, what's wrong with you today? You feel so strange. He put his arm around my shoulder. It's nothing. I just felt a little sad after visiting Mom. Don't go alone in the future, I'll go with you. Okay. I leaned into his arms, feeling his body temperature. This embrace once made me feel safe, now it only felt disgusting. Adrian, we've been married for 3 years. Yes, time flies so fast. Do you regret it? Adrian was stunned for a moment. Regret what? Regret marrying me. If it weren't for Mom's matter, would you have married me? Silly girl, what nonsense are you talking about? He kissed my forehead. No matter the situation, I would have married you. He didn't even blink when he lied. What about Isabel? She's back, you won't leave me, will you? Of course not. Isabel is just my sister. Sister? I heard everything downstairs. I love you, Clara. He lowered his head to kiss me. I closed my eyes, forcing back my disgust as I returned the kiss. Adrian, since you're such a good actor, I'll play along with you to the end. The next morning, Adrian went out early, saying he was taking Isabel to the hospital for a checkup. I called my best friend Maya. Maya, I need you to help me investigate something. What is it? My mother's car accident. I suspect it wasn't an accident. Maya was silent for a few seconds. Clara, are you sure? This matter will be very complicated to investigate. I'm sure. Okay, give me a week. After hanging up the phone, I began to organize all the evidence from the past 3 years. Adrian was very clever. He was good to me on the surface, but he never let me participate in the affairs of the He Corporation. He said it was to protect me, that he didn't want me to be too tired. Looking back now, he was afraid I would find something. I turned on my computer and logged into my mother's company's internal system. As my mother's only heir, I had all the access rights. Soon, I found the detailed information for that project. Sure enough, 1 month before the car accident, the He Corporation unilaterally demanded changes to the design plan. Mom was firmly against it, believing the new plan had safety risks. They had a heated argument over it. The day of the car accident, Mom was on her way to the construction site to inspect safety measures. I continued searching through the documents and found something strange. After the car accident, the He Corporation immediately stopped the project and proactively paid a huge compensation. Logically, if it was just an accident, they could have shirked responsibility. Why would they do that? Unless they felt guilty. My phone rang. It was a message from Adrian. Isabel's test results aren't good. She might need to stay in the hospital for a few days. I won't be home tonight. I replied, okay, take good care of her. I put down my phone and sneered. I had already investigated Isabel's condition. Chronic kidney failure, requiring a kidney transplant. And as far as I know, her family's financial situation is average. It's impossible for her to find a suitable kidney source. But 3 years ago, she suddenly had money for the surgery. The timing coincides with Mom's car accident. What a coincidence in this world. I grabbed my bag, ready to go out. Since Adrian won't be home tonight, I can go visit Isabel in the hospital. At the hospital, I bought a bouquet of flowers. Isabel was in a VIP ward. The environment was nice. She looked surprised when she saw me. Clara, what are you doing here? I heard from Adrian that you were hospitalized. I came to see you. I placed the flowers on the bedside table. Thank you. You really shouldn't have bothered. No bother at all. We're family. I sat down by the bed. Isabel, is your illness serious? Isabel looked a little unnatural. It's okay. The doctor said I'll be cured soon. That's good. I held her hand. You know what? My mom's biggest wish when she was alive was to see me find a good man. Your aunt must be very happy. Adrian is so good to you. Yeah, he even gave up his work for me. My eyes welled up with tears. He stayed with me for a whole month when my mom had the accident. Isabel's hand trembled slightly. Clara. Isabel, do you think my mom would be happy if she knew her death fulfilled my happiness? What do you mean? Isabel's face instantly turned pale. I released her hand and stood up. Nothing much. I just think life is very strange, I said with a smile. Sometimes one person's death can create another person's new life. What? What are you saying? I'm saying thank you, Isabel. I bowed deeply. Thank you for letting me see Adrian's true colors. After speaking, I turned and walked towards the door. Behind me, Isabel's panicked voice called out, Clara, wait. I didn't turn back. It's time to settle some scores. Coming out of the hospital, I went directly to Maya's law firm. Clara, you look terrible. Maya put down the files in her hand. Did you find anything? I did, but... She hesitated. Tell me. I can handle it. Maya took a deep breath. The car accident was not an accident. The driver's name is David Vance. He was diagnosed with terminal liver cancer the day before the accident. The doctor said he had at most 2 months to live, so he wasn't afraid of death. That's right. And after the car accident, his family inexplicably received a sum of money, enough to pay for expensive treatment. My hands clenched into tight fists. Anything else? David Vance's wife admitted that someone did approach her husband with the condition of killing Helen, and they would give him 5 million yuan after it was done. Was it Adrian? No, it was Adrian's assistant, Marcus. But Marcus went abroad 3 years ago, and can't be contacted now. I closed my eyes, trying to control my urge to kill. Are there any other evidence? Yes, I checked Adrian's bank records. A week before the car accident, he transferred 8 million to Marcus. It was under the guise of a project bonus. Is that enough? Maya shook her head. These can only be considered circumstantial evidence. It's difficult to convict him. Then what should I do? You need more direct evidence, such as recordings, chat records, or testimonies from those involved. I was silent for a long time. Maya, if I said I wanted revenge, would you support me? Clara. I know what you want to say. The law will have justice. I smiled bitterly. But can the law bring my mother back to life? I understand your anger, but... I won't kill anyone. I just want them to pay the price. Maya looked at me, her eyes filled with worry. What do you want to do? An eye for an eye. When I got home, it was already 10 o'clock at night. Adrian wasn't home yet. I sat alone in the living room. For 3 years, I waited for him to come home in this house every day. Like a fool, thinking I was happy. Looking back now, it's laughable. My phone rang. It was a message from Adrian. Clara, Isabel's condition is not good. I'll stay at the hospital with her tonight. I replied, okay, take care. Then I got up and walked towards Adrian's study. This place was usually off limits. He never let me in. He said it was confidential work and shouldn't be seen by outsiders. I took out the spare key and opened the door. The study was large, with one wall filled with bookshelves and the other wall hanging with various awards and group photos. I went to the desk and turned on the computer. Password required. I tried some commonly used numbers, but they were all wrong. Then I tried Isabel's birthday and it worked. The computer screen lit up, and I started searching through the files. Soon I found an encrypted folder named Isabel. The password was still Isabel's birthday. There were many photos in the folder, all of Isabel. From elementary school to college, from lifestyle photos to artistic photos. There were also some videos recording Isabel's illness process. I clicked on the latest file, which was a recording. Adrian, I'm really scared. If I can't find a kidney source, I'm going to die. Isabel, don't be afraid. I will definitely save you. But matching kidney sources are too difficult to find, and my family doesn't have money. Don't worry about the money. I'll figure it out. Adrian, you're so good to me. Isabel, you know my heart. If it weren't for what? If it weren't for having to deal with the Jiang family matters, I would have married you a long time ago. My hands were trembling. Deal with the Jiang family? I continued to listen. Adrian, that old woman Helen is too difficult to deal with. The project has been stopped for 3 months. She is indeed stubborn, but it doesn't matter. I have a way. What way? Isabel, there are some things you don't need to know. You just need to wait patiently for the surgery. Adrian, you wouldn't do anything illegal, would you? For you, I am willing to do anything. The recording ended there. I leaned back in my chair, feeling cold all over. So from the beginning, they were planning to kill my mother. And I, like a fool, was still grateful for their kindness. The phone suddenly rang. It was Adrian calling. Clara, are you asleep? Not yet. What's wrong? Nothing. Just wanted to hear your voice. How is Isabel? The doctor said they can schedule the surgery tomorrow. I might be busy for a few days. Okay, you take care of your things. Don't worry about me. Clara, I love you. I closed my eyes, barely suppressing my nausea. I love you too. Hanging up the phone, I continued to search the computer. In a hidden folder, I found more evidence. Bank transfer records, chat logs with Marcus, and a detailed plan. All the evidence pointed to one fact. Mother's death was a carefully planned murder. And the murderer was my husband, whom I had loved deeply for 3 years. The next morning, I prepared breakfast for Adrian as usual. He hurried back to change clothes, saying he had to accompany Isabel for surgery. Clara, thank you. He kissed my forehead. You're welcome. I smiled and straightened his tie. Is Isabel's surgery very complicated? It's okay, just a kidney transplant. The doctor says the success rate is very high. That's good. Has she found a matching kidney? Adrian paused for a moment. Yes, just found it yesterday. That's great, she's been waiting so long. I continued to straighten his tie. By the way, where did the kidney come from? This. I'm not too sure, the hospital arranged it. Adrian. I suddenly looked up at him. What would you do if I needed an organ transplant? What do you mean? Just hypothetically, if I also got a disease that required a transplant. Adrian hugged me tightly. Don't talk nonsense, you will be healthy. But what if? If that day really comes, I will give you all my organs. What touching sweet talk. If I didn't know the truth, I would definitely be moved to tears. Really? Of course we are husband and wife, everything I have is yours. Including your heart? Adrian looked into my eyes. Including my heart. I stood on tiptoe and kissed him lightly on the lips. Go on, Isabel is waiting for you. Watching Adrian's departing back, I took out my phone and called Maya. Maya, I found the evidence. What evidence? Recordings, chat logs, transfer receipts, everything. Where did you find them? In Adrian's computer. Maya was silent for a few seconds. Clara, this evidence may not be admissible in court. Why? Because you obtained it through illegal means. It is illegal evidence. My heart sank. What should I do then? You need to make them admit it voluntarily, such as recording or witness testimony. I understand. Hanging up the phone, I began to formulate a plan. Since the law can't protect me, then I will do it myself. I opened the computer and started searching for Isabel's information. Chronic renal failure has reached the point where a transplant is necessary. Without a kidney, she would only live for another 6 months at most. And the source of this kidney must be improper. I continued to search and discovered a shocking fact. Isabel's kidney match rate was actually as high as 99%, which is almost impossible. Unless it's an organ from a direct relative. I thought of a terrible possibility. Immediately checked the recent organ donation records and sure enough found the answer. 3 days ago, a girl named Lily died in a car accident and donated all her organs. Lily, 18 years old, an orphan. Same last name as me, and about the same age. This is definitely not a coincidence. I called Maya. Maya, help me investigate someone, Lily. What now? I suspect her death is related to Isabel's surgery. You mean? Yes, they not only killed my mother, but now they have killed an innocent girl. Hanging up the phone, I sat on the sofa, shivering all over. Adrian had killed 2 people in a row to save Isabel. And I almost became his accomplice. The phone rang, it was a message from Isabel. Clara, thank you for visiting me yesterday, the surgery was successful, I will be discharged soon. I replied, that's great, congratulations. Then I got up and walked to the bedroom. From the innermost part of the closet, I took out a small box. Inside were my mother's belongings, including her favorite necklace. Attached to the necklace was a small voice recorder. It was my mother's habit, she liked to record her life. I plugged the recorder into the computer. Inside were my mother's recordings from the last few days of her life. Today Adrian came to me again, insisting that I agree to change the design plan. I told him that doing so had safety hazards, but he said that I was deliberately making things difficult. Clara, that child, is completely infatuated with Adrian and doesn't believe a word I say. I always feel that Adrian is up to no good, but there is no evidence. Tomorrow I will go to the construction site to check. I must find the problem. This was my mother's last recording. The next day she died. I hugged the recorder, crying out loud. Mom, I'm sorry I'm late. But now, I will avenge you. On the day Isabel was discharged from the hospital, Adrian specially booked a high-end restaurant to celebrate. I wore a red dress and put on exquisite makeup. Clara, you look beautiful today. Adrian's eyes were full of love. Thank you. I took his arm. Today is Isabel's big day. Of course I have to dress nicely. The restaurant's private room was luxurious. Isabel sat at the head of the table, her face rosy. You couldn't tell she'd just had surgery. Isabel, you look great. I sat across from her. Yes, I feel like I have a new lease on life. Isabel smiled happily. I have to thank Adrian for that. Without him, I might be dead by now. Adrian is really good. I looked at Adrian. He's willing to do anything to save you. Adrian was a little uncomfortable. Isabel is someone I've watched grow up since she was a child. Of course I should save her. But kidney sources are so hard to find. How did you find one? This. The hospital has its own channels. Adrian avoided my gaze. I heard the match was very high. It's almost a miracle. The smile on Isabel's face was a little stiff. Yes, the doctor said it was very lucky. That donor must have been a good person. I raised my glass. We should thank her. The private room suddenly fell silent. Adrian and Isabel didn't say anything. What's wrong? I pretended not to understand. Did I say something wrong? No. Adrian quickly raised his glass. Come on, let's toast to Isabel's recovery. We clinked glasses and drank, and the atmosphere became lively again. After a few rounds of drinks, Isabel went to the restroom. Adrian also made an excuse to answer a phone call and went out. I took the opportunity to take out my phone and turn on the recording function. Then I quietly followed him. In the hallway, Adrian was on the phone. Marcus, when are you coming back to the country? Good, Isabel's surgery was successful. Don't mention that matter again, it's in the past. How was Lily's matter handled? Good, don't leave any traces. I hid in a corner, recording the entire conversation. Back in the private room, Isabel had already returned. Clara, where did you go? To the restroom. I sat down with a smile. Isabel, did your kidney come from a girl named Lily? Isabel's face turned pale instantly. How did you know? I asked a friend to investigate. I wanted to know who the kind person who saved you was. I feigned concern. Lily was only 18 years old. It's such a pity. Yes, it's a pity. Isabel's voice trembled slightly. How did she die? A car accident. Another car accident? I looked into her eyes. What a coincidence, just like my mother. Adrian came back at this time and was puzzled when he saw our expressions. What are you talking about? We're talking about Lily, I said with a smile. I want to go to her grave and thank her. After all, she saved Isabel. Adrian's face changed. No need. Let the dead rest in peace, don't disturb her. But I want to express my gratitude. Clara, don't worry about this kind of thing. Adrian's tone was a little stern. I lowered my head, pretending to be aggrieved. Okay, I just wanted to thank her. Isabel quickly smoothed things over. Clara, I know your intentions, but Adrian is right. We shouldn't disturb the dead. Okay, I'll listen to you. In the following time, the atmosphere became a little subtle. Adrian kept looking at me intentionally or unintentionally, as if trying to confirm whether I had discovered anything. Isabel was also absent-minded, constantly looking at her phone. Only I maintained a smile, like a fool who didn't know anything. After sending Isabel back to the hotel, Adrian and I returned home. He was very quiet on the way. Adrian, what's wrong? I took the initiative to start a conversation. Nothing, I just think you're a little strange today. Strange where? Why did you ask about Lily's matter? I pretended to be innocent. I was just curious. I'm happy for Isabel's recovery. Don't ask about this kind of thing in the future, understand? Why? Adrian stopped the car, turned to look at me. Clara, some things are not for you to worry about. Just do your own thing. His eyes were very cold, completely unlike his usual gentleness. I understand. I nodded obediently. Back home, Adrian went straight to the study. I heard him on the phone. His voice was very low. I couldn't hear what he was saying. I pretended to go to the kitchen to pour water. When I passed the study door, I heard a few keywords. Clara, suspicion handle. My heart beat faster. It seemed that he had begun to suspect me. But it didn't matter. I had already collected enough evidence. Now it was time to close the net. The next day, I went to the police station. Maya accompanied me. Her face was heavy. Clara, are you sure you want to do this? I'm sure. I handed all the evidence to the police. I want to report Adrian for intentional homicide. The officer who received us was a middle-aged police officer named Officer Miller. He carefully looked at the evidence I provided, his brow furrowing deeper and deeper. Miss Clara, this evidence is indeed suspicious, but what? The source of some of the evidence is illegal and may not be used as a basis for conviction. My heart sank. What about the recording? I recorded it myself. The recording can be used as a reference, but more evidence is needed to support it. Maya said from the side, Officer Miller, can you open a case for investigation first? Yes, we will send someone to investigate. Officer Miller put away the materials. But Ms. Clara, during the investigation, please don't alert the enemy. I know. Coming out of the police station, my mood was complicated. Although I had reported the case, it would be difficult to convict Adrian, who was so cunning. Clara, don't worry, justice may be late, but it will not be absent. Maya comforted me. I'm afraid I won't be able to wait for that day. What do you mean? I told her about the conversation I had overheard last night. Maya's face changed drastically. Are you saying that he wants to do something against you? Most likely. Then don't go home now. Stay at my place for a few days. I shook my head. No, I'm going back. Clara, are you crazy? I want him to admit his crime himself. I explained my plan to Maya. After hearing everything, she hugged me tightly. It's too dangerous, I don't agree. Maya, this is the only way. No, we can wait for the police investigation results. Do you think with that evidence they can sentence him for how many years? I smiled wryly. Even if he's sentenced, what about Isabel? She's also an accomplice, but nothing will happen to her. Maya was silent for a long time. If you insist on doing this, I will protect you from the shadows. Thank you. Back home, Adrian hadn't returned yet. I started preparing dinner, just like usual. At 7 o'clock, Adrian came back. He looked like he was in a good mood, and even brought me my favorite cake. Clara, how was your day? It was good, I went shopping. I smiled and took the cake. How about you? Spent the whole day in meetings, so tired. Adrian sat down on the sofa. Oh right, I have to go on a business trip for a few days tomorrow. Where to? Shenzhen, there's a project to discuss. I knew he was lying, because I had checked his schedule. He had no business trip planned for tomorrow. Then I'll be bored at home alone. Why don't you go on a trip for a few days too? Adrian suggested. It'll be a good way to relax. He was trying to get rid of me. Where should I go? Anywhere, wherever you want to go. Here's 500,000. You can buy whatever you want. Adrian took out a bank card. 500,000. So generous? It seemed he really wanted me to leave. Adrian, I'm really touched that you're so good to me. I sat next to him. Tell me, will we be together forever? Of course. Adrian hugged me. Then if one day you find out I've done something to betray you, will you forgive me? Adrian paused for a moment. What could you possibly do to betray me? For example, I snooped into your privacy. What privacy? His body instantly tensed up. It's just a hypothetical. If I really did, what would you do? Adrian was silent for a long time, then smiled and said, Silly girl, we're husband and wife. There's no privacy, I can't let you know. More lies. We sat facing each other, so close, yet like we were separated by a vast distance. Adrian, I love you. I love you too. Two people lying, telling each other they loved each other. This marriage was a joke from the beginning. During dinner, Adrian put food on my plate, just like usual. Clara, eat more, you're too thin. Okay. I obediently ate. Adrian, I want to ask you a question. What question? If time could go back, would you still marry me? Adrian put down his chopsticks and looked at me. Why are you asking this? I just want to know in your heart, what am I to you? You're my wife, of course I love you. What about Isabel? Isabel is my sister. But you're not blood-related siblings. Clara, what's wrong with you today? Why are you always asking these strange questions? I put down my chopsticks and looked directly into his eyes. Because I want to know the truth. What truth? The truth about my mother. The air suddenly froze. Adrian's face instantly became very ugly. Clara, what are you talking about? I know, Adrian. My voice was very calm. I know how my mother died. Adrian's hands were trembling. Clara, what are you saying? I'm saying I know my mother didn't die in an accident. I got up and walked towards the living room. I know you killed her. Adrian followed me, his face pale. What nonsense are you talking about? Auntie died in a car accident. A car accident? I turned to look at him. Then explain why David Vance's family received money? Why did Marcus transfer money to David Vance before the car accident? Why are there so many pieces of evidence on your computer? Adrian stood frozen, unable to speak for a long time. And Lily, I continued, an 18-year-old girl, also died in a car accident, and then her kidney just happened to be a match for Isabel. How can there be so many coincidences in the world? Clara, you've misunderstood. Misunderstood? I took out my phone and played the audio I recorded in the restaurant last night. Is this also a misunderstanding? Adrian heard his own voice and completely collapsed. He slumped onto the sofa, holding his head in his hands. Clara, You what? You want to say you didn't do it on purpose? You want to say you were forced? My voice grew colder and colder. Adrian, my mother trusted you so much. She entrusted me to you. But you killed her. I had no choice. Adrian suddenly looked up, his eyes full of pain. Isabel was dying. I couldn't just watch her die. So you could kill my mother? I just wanted her not to stop the project. I didn't expect. Didn't expect what? Didn't expect the hitman you hired to directly run her over and kill her. Adrian grabbed his hair hard, painfully saying, I regret it. I really regret it. Regret? I sneered. If you really regret it, why did you kill Lily too? Isabel needed a kidney. So you found someone to run over and kill another innocent girl? Adrian didn't speak, just kept shaking his head. I looked at the man I once loved deeply. My heart turned to ashes. Adrian, do you know how I've spent the last 3 years? He looked up at me, his eyes filled with tears. I've been grateful to you every day, grateful that you gave me a home, grateful that you took care of me. My voice began to choke up. I even thought that my mother's death completed my happiness. Clara. I thought every day that if my mother knew I was so happy, she would be very happy. Tears finally flowed down. But do you know? She was killed by you. Adrian wanted to approach me, but I pushed him away. Don't touch me. Your hands are covered in blood. Clara, I love you. I really love you. Love me? I wiped away my tears. If you loved me, you wouldn't have killed my mother. If you loved me, you wouldn't have lied to me again and again for another woman. I know I was wrong. I'm willing to make it up to you. Make it up to me. I took out the divorce agreement. Sign it. Adrian looked at the divorce agreement, his face even paler. Clara, don't leave me, please. Sign it. I won't sign. I will never let you go. I coldly looked at him. Do you think I'll still live with a murderer? I'm not a murderer. Adrian suddenly roared. I was just trying to save Isabel. Save Isabel by killing my mother? By killing Lily? Adrian, you're insane. I'm not insane. He stood up, approaching me. Clara, if you dare leave me, You'll what? I'll make you go keep your mother company. Adrian's eyes turned terrifying. Clara, you know too much. Finally showing your true colors. I took a few steps back and took out my phone. You want to kill me? I don't want to, but if you leave me, I have no choice. Adrian's eyes turned terrifying. Clara, you know too much. I've already called the police. Adrian was stunned, then burst out laughing. Called the police? What evidence do you have? Recordings, chat logs, transfer receipts, everything. That evidence isn't legally admissible. The court won't accept it. Adrian regained his composure. And even if they did, it wouldn't be enough to convict me. He was right. That's why I came back to face him. I needed him to admit it himself. Adrian, do you really not regret anything? I regret not killing your mother sooner. If I had acted sooner, Isabel wouldn't have suffered so much. He finally told the truth. I quietly pressed the record button on my phone. What about Lily? She was only 18. She died for a worthy cause. It was an honor for her to save Isabel. Adrian's face showed no remorse. For Isabel, I can kill anyone, including me, if necessary. Looking at the stranger in front of me, I finally understood that I never really knew him. For 3 years, I loved only a fake mask. Adrian, is Isabel worth all this? Of course she is, I love her. What about me? You, Adrian sneered. You're just a tool to cover up the truth. Every word stabbed into my heart like a knife. But I had to endure it. I needed more evidence. So, from the beginning, your approaching me was all for a purpose? Yes, I needed an identity to cover up the truth of killing your mother. Adrian sat back on the sofa. Marrying you was the best choice. That way no one would suspect me. So all the good things you did for me these past 3 years were all fake. Every time I kissed you, hugged you, I was thinking of Isabel. I closed my eyes, trying to control the urge to kill. Adrian, aren't you afraid of retribution? Retribution? He laughed loudly. I have money and power. What retribution can touch me? What if I give these recordings to the police? Adrian's face changed, then he sneered. Do you think you'll still have a chance to leave here? Adrian took a knife from under the coffee table. It gleamed coldly, extremely sharp. Clara, I didn't want to do this originally. He stood up and slowly walked towards me. But you know too much. I backed away, my heart pounding. Adrian, calm down. Killing me won't do you any good. Of course it will. Dead people don't talk. If you kill me, the police will suspect you. No, they won't. I'll say you committed suicide. Adrian's eyes were very cold. Because you couldn't handle the blow of finding out I was cheating and chose to kill yourself. No one will believe that. Yes, they will, because I'll find evidence to prove you have depression. He really had thought of everything. I continued to back away, already up against the wall. Adrian, we're husband and wife after all. Can you really bring yourself to kill me? For Isabel, I can do anything. He raised the knife, about to stab me. Just then the doorbell rang. Adrian was stunned, and I took the opportunity to dodge to the side. Don't move. He pointed the knife at me. If you dare move, I'll kill you immediately. The doorbell kept ringing, and someone was knocking on the door outside. Mr. Adrian, we're the police. Please open the door. Adrian's face changed drastically. You really called the police? Yes. I breathed a sigh of relief. Adrian looked at the door, then at the knife in his hand, a look of despair flashing in his eyes. In that case, let's die together. He suddenly turned around and charged towards me. I closed my eyes, waiting for death. The door was kicked open, and several police officers rushed in. Don't move. Drop the weapon. Adrian was subdued, and the knife fell to the ground. I collapsed to the ground, trembling all over. Miss Clara, are you all right? Officer Miller walked over and helped me up. I'm okay, thank you. Maya also came in with the police and hugged me tightly. Clara, you took too much of a risk. I'm okay. I looked at Adrian, who was being handcuffed. Did you hear the recordings? We heard everything. Officer Miller nodded. We were monitoring the whole process outside. Adrian looked at me, his eyes full of hatred. Clara, you're really ruthless. Compared to what you did to my mother, I'm far from it. Adrian was taken away. Before he left, he turned back and looked at me. What about Isabel? She's still waiting for me. She'll be joining you soon. I said coldly. Adrian heard this and was completely despondent. He was put into the police car and quickly disappeared into the night. Clara, it's all over. Maya patted my back. Not yet. I stood up, straightened my clothes. Isabel is still out there. Officer Miller nodded. We've already sent people to arrest her. I want to see her myself. Clara, forget it. There's no need. No, there is. I looked at the night scene outside the window. There are some things I have to tell her myself. An hour later, We arrived at Isabel's hotel. She didn't know that Adrian had been arrested and was leisurely watching TV in the room. She was surprised to see me and the police appear. Clara? What are you doing here? Just coming to see you. I walked into the room, sat across from her. Isabel, do you know Adrian has been arrested? Isabel's face turned white instantly. What? Why? Because of murder. Impossible. Adrian wouldn't kill anyone. He admitted it himself. He killed my mother and also Lily. I looked into her eyes to save you. Isabel collapsed on the bed, shaking her head incessantly. Impossible, impossible. You knew all along, didn't you? I continued to ask. Knew my mother didn't die in an accident. Knew Lily was murdered. I don't know. I don't know anything. Isabel yelled hysterically. You do know. Officer Miller walked over. Ms. Isabel, we found your phone records with Adrian. The day before Helen died, you talked for a full 2 hours. Isabel's face grew paler and paler. And a week before Lily's death, you went to her workplace. We have surveillance footage as proof. Just what? I stood up. Just went to confirm that her kidneys were suitable for a transplant. Isabel completely broke down, covering her face and crying. I didn't want to die. I really didn't want to die. So you could kill others? I didn't kill them. Adrian did. I just enjoyed the benefits? I said coldly. Isabel, you and Adrian are both murderers. No, I didn't kill anyone. Then tell me, when you knew Adrian was going to kill my mother, did you stop him? Isabel didn't speak. When you knew Lily was going to be murdered, did you call the police? She still didn't speak. You did nothing. You watched them die. Then you enjoyed the organs they traded their lives for. My voice grew louder and louder. Isabel, you're more hateful than Adrian. I really didn't want to die. She cried even harder. What about them? Did my mother want to die? Did Lily want to die? Isabel didn't dare look me in the eyes. Isabel, I asked you one last question. I squatted down in front of her. If you could choose again, would you still do it? She raised her head, tears still in her eyes, but her voice was firm. Yes, to live, I'd do anything. I stood up and said to Officer Miller, That's enough, take her away. Isabel was handcuffed, and before she left, she looked at me. Clara, don't be too pleased with yourself. Even if we die, you won't be happy. Of course, I won't be happy, I said calmly. But seeing you punished will be very satisfying. Isabel was taken away, leaving only Maya and me in the room. Clara, it's all over. Yes, it's over. I walked to the window, looking at the night view outside. Mom, can you see this? The bad guys are finally being punished. 3 months later, the court tried the case. Adrian was convicted of intentional homicide and sentenced to death. Isabel was convicted as an accomplice to intentional homicide and sentenced to life imprisonment. On the day of the sentencing, I sat in the audience. Adrian saw me, his eyes still full of hatred. But I no longer cared. When the judge read the verdict, I thought of my mother. Her greatest wish in life was to see me happy. Although she didn't get to see my happiness, she saw my growth. I was no longer that naive girl. I had learned to protect myself, learned to fight for my own justice. Mom, is this what you wanted? After the trial, Adrian was taken away. Before he left, he said one last thing to me. Clara, I curse you to never be happy. I smiled. Adrian, you no longer have the right to curse anyone. Isabel was also taken away. She was crying very hard. But I had no sympathy at all. Their tears were not worth my mother's and Lily's lives. Coming out of the courthouse, the sun was shining brightly. Maya was by my side. Clara, what are you going to do? Start over. I took a deep breath. I will remanage my mother's company and complete her unfinished business. What about love? Let it be. I said with a smile. Right now, I'd rather focus on my career. Well, you're still young, you have plenty of time. We walked down the street, watching the crowds of people passing by. Life had to go on, but I was no longer the naive Clara from 3 months ago. I had become stronger and more aware. Perhaps this was the price of growth. Back home, I packed up all of Adrian's belongings and prepared to donate them to charity. While cleaning the study, I saw the Isabel folder again. Inside were still those photos and videos, recording Adrian's love for Isabel. I didn't delete them, but printed them all out, ready to send them to Isabel. Let her savor this love in prison. After all, she traded 2 lives for it. After cleaning the study, I went to the balcony. Here you could see distant mountains and the sunset. The scenery was beautiful. My mother used to like to call me at this time, asking me how my day was going. Now I would never hear her voice again. But I knew she was watching me from heaven, watching me get justice for her. The phone rang. It was an unfamiliar number. Is this Miss Clara? Yes, who is this? I'm a friend of Lily's. I heard that you got justice for Lily, and I want to thank you in person. I was stunned. Lily, the girl who gave her life for Isabel. No need to thank me, it's what I should do. No, you don't know, Lily always wanted to find her family before she died. She was an orphan and always longed for a sister. My eyes welled up with tears. If she were still alive, you're the person she would have wanted to meet the most. Hanging up the phone, I looked at the sunset, tears streaming down my face. Lily, I'm sorry I'm late. But I promise, your death will not be in vain. Those who killed you will be punished as they deserve. From now on, I will live on with your share. Live a wonderful and meaningful life. That night, I ate dinner alone in the living room. No Adrian's false concern, no Isabel's hypocritical greetings. Only me eating quietly by myself. This feeling was actually more comfortable than before. It seemed that some people, leaving was a relief. After finishing dinner, I turned on the TV to watch the news. Adrian's case was the headline, reported by all major media outlets. He Group's Crown Prince murder case shocked the city. To save girlfriend, he killed 2. Wealthy young master finally receives death penalty. Victim's daughter reveals truth 3 years later, justice finally served. I turned off the TV and picked up a book. It was my mother's favorite collection of poems. Opening the first page, I saw my mother's handwriting. Clara, I hope you are always kind, but also learn to protect yourself. Mom, I did it. I maintained my kindness and learned to protect myself. More importantly, I got justice for you. It was late and I prepared to sleep. Passing by my mother's room, I pushed open the door to take a look. The room was still the way she left it, spotless. Mom, good night, I said softly. As if hearing a response, my mood became calm. Returning to my own room, I lay in bed, looking at the ceiling. For the first time in 3 years, I felt truly safe. No need to worry about the person next to my pillow being a murderer. No need to be wary of the schemes of those around me. Just need to sleep well, wake up tomorrow and continue a new life. I closed my eyes and quickly fell asleep. In my dream, I dreamed of my mother. She smiled at me and said, Clara, Mom is proud of you. Mom, I miss you so much. Mom misses you too, but Mom has to go. Don't go, stay with me a little longer. Silly child. Mom is always in your heart, and has never left. Mom. Live well, live happily, this is Mom's greatest wish. I reached out to grab her, but her figure became increasingly blurred. Clara, forget the hatred, start over. When I woke up, my face was covered in tears. But this time the tears were no longer of pain, but of relief. Mom is right, it's time to forget the hatred and start over. I have already gotten justice for her. Now it's time to live for myself. The next morning, I went to my mother's company. It had been closed for 3 years, and all the employees had scattered. But my mother's office was still there, and her last design drawings were still on the desk. I picked up the drawings and looked at them carefully. It was a design proposal for a children's hospital. My mother said that her biggest dream was to build the most beautiful children's hospital, so that sick children could also see a beautiful world. Now I want to help her fulfill this dream. I called several of my mother's former employees, asking if they were willing to come back. Everyone agreed. They said that President Jiang was a good person, and it was their honor to work for her. Now that President Jiang's daughter was starting over, of course they would support her. A month later, the company officially reopened. The first project we took on was that children's hospital. Mom, do you see it? I'm here to help you realize your dream. Standing on the construction site, watching the busy figures of the workers, I remembered that rainy night 3 years ago. At that time, I was desperate and helpless, thinking it was the end of the world. Now I have stood up again. Not only for myself, but also for all those who need help. This is growth, right? Reborn from the ashes, finding hope in despair. Mom, thank you for giving me life. Even more, thank you for teaching me how to live bravely in this world. Now I'm going to start my own life.